It was only a matter of time before this one showed up, and I've been waiting to get a chance, a crack at it, a moment behind the wheel, because I like off-roading. I enjoy trucks, and I enjoy EVs too. This brings it all together. This is the 2025 Chevrolet Silverado EV Trail Boss. And we've got it on the trails. And I could go with a cheesy follow-up asking if it's the boss of the trails, but I'm not going to do that. I was close. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I just want to see if this thing is halfway decent out here on the rutted fire roads where I test vehicles occasionally. It's got tons of range. It's got a big-ass battery. It's got great power, but can it actually do well out here? Let's give it a test and find out. All right, backing up first, we're going to talk about how this thing looks. I like the way this thing looks based on comparing it to the standard version of the truck, or the RST, the LT, the work truck versions. The work truck looks fine for what it is. It should be it should have unpainted fascias and stuff like that, and plain wheels. Like, that's perfect. That's a work truck. Great. The RST had the street style thing down with big, 24s or something like that. Massive wheel and tire package, 22s or 24s, and just the right look for a street truck. This is the Trail Boss. So we've got the red tow hooks up front. We've got smaller wheels. We've got chunky all-terrain type tires. We've got the Trail Boss badge on the sail panel. Looks pretty good. It's got the look of a Trail Boss vehicle down pretty well. I'd love to see what a potential ZR2 version would look like. I know they did the ZR2 race truck, but just for a Trail Boss version, we've got the look down. This sits, like 2 inches higher than the regular Silverado as well, so that's pretty good. Slide into the cabin. It's adequate. The screens are bright, and you can see the display easily, both in front of you and off to the side, the kind of like combo singular dual display. The head-up display, I can see it totally fine right now wearing polarized sunglasses, which is nice. I wish the HVAC wasn't buttons, but at least it always stays on the screen, so that's good that it's always up, and it seems to respond well enough to my touch. But like I'm on a trail right now, and I can't. I have to pause to try to find, or if you just could go for a button, even if you're bouncing along on a trail, you'd be good to go. That said, I don't think the interior is up to snuff in terms of related to its price. But we'll get more to that in a minute, because legroom is great up front. Legroom is amazing in the back there. This does have that mid-gate function too, so you could put that down if you want to store really long pieces of wood or whatever freight you're hauling in the back of this thing. So the cargo bed solutions are pretty amazing for this vehicle. That's absolutely no question about it. Up here we have a panel roof overhead. I wish there was some kind of sliding thing to close that, because it can get hot in the cabin when you're parking this thing in the sun. That's any vehicle with a panel roof. I don't know why automakers aren't including some kind of just sliding feature to close it. I don't always want that open. It's nice when it's not, crazy hot out and it's just a decent day. Like today, I got out to the hill early enough where it's 62 degrees where I am right now, and it's been hot as hell lately. But yeah, inside it's fine. It's a Chevy Silverado product. But again, we'll get to price in a minute. So the meat of it here is the powertrain, the EV powertrain. Dual motor setup. We're making as much as if we're in the max power mode, which I'm sure has some goofy name. I get them all confused because there's WTF, for watts to freedom. There's so many different ones between the different Chevy and GMC offerings. So whatever, I'm just calling it the max power mode here. You push the button, it makes a noise. Here, I'll do it right now so you can hear the noise. You go to drive modes. I hate that you have to go to like 2 different menus to do this, by the way. Hit this button. It makes the, oh my God, I'm in the crazy power mode noise. I'm gonna turn that off though, because I don't need that right now. You know what, screw it, keep it on. It's fun. See, now we have the electric motor noise, you know, comes into. You can turn that on or off if you want. 750 horsepower, fantastic. But you need it all to move this gargantuan mofo of a machine. Still, that said, on-road manners, it drives pretty nicely, and part of that is owed to the rear-wheel steering that is on this thing, so the turning circle is far tighter than you expect it to be, and it's more agile than you would expect out on the road, and that's a very good thing because it's a very large vehicle. One of the things, the vehicles like this, the same family of vehicles, so the Sierra, the Hummer, all that sort of thing, they all suffer from the same crappy passenger side mirror because it's such a wide vehicle, and that side mirror is large, but I just can never angle that side mirror to where I want it to be based on my seating position. Could be a me problem, but I'm gonna say that's a crazy thing. Thankfully, there are cameras, so if I turn on the signal, I get a camera that pops up here in the center screen. So that is helpful, at least. But that's how I know it's not me. The fact that has that means other people are like, hey, we should probably put a camera there because the passenger side mirror sucks. So thank you for putting that there. And I normally hate these camera-based rear view mirrors. I've come to get used to them. It used to be kind of an uncanny valley situation when they were first around, and I always hated using them. But the last few times I've been in General Motors products with them, I turn it on, and I forget about it, and I get it set up. The camera view is much better than it used to be. The picture quality is excellent. So I've been using it here, and it's been no problem at all. The only problem comes when I'm vain and I try to see how my hair looks. I can't do it in that. I have to remember to do this, but maybe that'll tone down the vanity of a YouTuber. I apologize for calling myself a YouTuber. Speaking of, like and subscribe to the channel. Perfect segue. Maybe I am becoming a dumbass YouTuber. I make videos for YouTube, so whatever. So back to the driving bits of this. I didn't turn the cameras on the first initial part of the hill because I wanted to get some thoughts in my head. This is my first time putting this out on the trail since I've had this vehicle for a few days. Initially, while I was coming up the hill, I was very unimpressed. The back end was bouncing a lot. There were some secondary movements in the suspension that were very uncomfortable. It was moving far too much over terrain where other vehicles I've driven are totally composed and relaxed. And that ranges from G-Wagons and Ineos Grenadiers to my Montero, to Defenders, to Broncos and Wranglers. Actually, the last vehicle I took up this hill was a Lexus LX 700H Overtrail, and going twice as fast in the Lexus as I was just going in the Silverado, I felt twice as comfortable. So that's not great. There was a lot of head toss going on, which is something you want to minimize in an off-road vehicle, so I'm not smacking my dome off the side here. You know, some of that could be based on the line you're picking, but I was driving normal, how I would normally. I actually backed the speed down because the initial suspension movements were very uncomfortable and unwanted. You do have 35-inch tires, which is nice. Now, these are going to be a compromised tire. I believe they're Goodyears. It's not an overly aggressive tread pattern. It is an all-terrain, but it's not an all-terrain I would trust if I were going far, far off the beaten path. I would want something with a bit more substantial, just a tire I trust more. Talk about the battery pack and the range. These have massive Mondo battery packs, which is why they're able to deliver. And this one has the max pack. So it's rated at 470 miles, 75 miles on a full charge. And it is a believable, usable, attainable 475. It is crazy. I charged up to like 90% last night at home before hitting the trail today. And I got in the truck and it said like 450 something. It's crazy. You do stuff in this truck and you feel like you barely run the battery down. Range anxiety does not exist in the Silverado EV. the GMC Sierra, the Hummer, you know, all those vehicles. Or the Cadillac Escalade IQ, which was another stunner of an Ultium platform vehicle. Range anxiety doesn't exist in this, and you can DC fast charge at 350 kilowatts. So you can get like 100 miles of range back in 10 minutes if the DC fast charger is cranking out the juice at the right speeds. Charging at home on level 2, you know, because it's such a big battery, it's gonna take a while if you pull in home empty, but still, you're still getting decent range back at a decent clip, even at home. But to really top it off, if you're really low in battery, your better bet, if you're in a hurry, is a proper DC fast charger. But 475 miles of range is just amazing thing. I think the lowest range versions of these are still in the 4s, which is just where you want to be range-wise. It's fantastic. Now, moving to price. The work truck, as I said, starts in the 50s. This one, as tested, is 91, which is, you know, a lot of money. 91 is a lot of money for what I was describing, and that's where I come to the interior portion of this. This is not a $91,000 interior, and I don't know what they would need to do to get it up to snuff. The seats could be better. They're very plain seats. These are probably the same seats you get on all the lower trims. A little bit more bolstering would be nice on a Trail Boss model. It does have heated ventilation, which is nice. Let's go this way. Let's see how it does over this shit. Okay, we're hitting on the side there, which is, you know, to be expected. Just walk it up. I mean, it is effortless power. I'm barely touching the throttle, so that is nice. And you can hear the motors working something out up there. I mean, it was easy, that's for sure. That was definitely easy to get up that, which is good. And as it should be, even though this thing weighs 1 billion pounds, I think is the official number, it is a good amount of power to get you where you want to go. So, that's funny, a menu just popped up. Vehicle stuck, turn off traction. It just gave me the option to do that. That's weird. Put it in park. So the price is very high, but electric vehicles are expensive. That's a cool view out there of let me see if you can pick it up on this camera. Over there, that's all clouds. Here, let me do this. Yoink, we're above all the clouds. That's kind of cool. It's a lot of money. A lot of money. Now, what are you going to compare this to? You can compare it to the Lightning, but the Lightning doesn't have a dedicated off-road version. It needs one, and the Lightning is a great truck. It can't touch the range of this. The Rivian is the more direct competitor, R1T, and the Rivian R1T interior experience blows this out of the water. I think it does drive a little bit better because there's less heft behind it, or it feels that way at least. It definitely feels like there's less heft involved, and it feels a bit more nimble on and off road. So you can spend more on an R1T, but I do believe that the R1T is a better truck, just because it's the better vehicle. Maybe is a better way to say it. It feels better off-road. It's super nice on-road. The interior experience is better. Not everybody loves the almost Pixar-like exterior styling. I'm a fan of it. I think it's signature for the brand. I think it looks cool because it's different without being overly good. I like it a lot. They nailed it. And I've driven R1Ts across Johnson Valley and had an absolute blast. This is a solid offering. And I know that a Trail Boss is never equivalent to a ZR2, but there were moments on the trail where this was doing just bouncing in very unwanted manners, in very light chop, you could call it, like moderately rutted parts of trail. It wasn't anything it was shocking, to be quite honest. Very uncomfortable in those moments, but once I was past that, the nimbleness on trail is there. The brakes are very responsive, which is really good in an off-road vehicle, a heavy off-road vehicle. The power is excellent. And I do think it looks cool now that it has the proper wheels and tires on it. Like, it looks with the red tow hooks. Could you imagine though trying to winch one of these? If you come across somebody who slid off trail in a Silverado EV Trail Boss and they're like, hey, can you help me? You would look down at your winch and your vehicle and be like, no, like, you need to call like forest recovery, heavy duty machine. Like, you couldn't winch this out with the standard winch. I'd have to believe, like, it would start pulling your vehicle for sure. You would have to strap your vehicle to trees or to other vehicles. Recovering these must be a nightmare off the trail. But again, it does look cool. The screens work well, even though I wish HVAC was physical buttons. The power's great. I wish it was less expensive, but I understand why it costs as much as it does. And I do think the Rivian is the better truck. But I'm happy that the Trail Boss has come to the Silverado EV lineup. I hope it forces Ford to make an FX4 Lightning, or a Tremor Lightning would actually be more appropriate and equivalent. I hope Chevy comes out with a ZR2 version. I wish Ford would do a Lightning Raptor. That would be incredible. And the Rivian is constantly improving as well. Hopefully Ram delivers the Rev one of these days, though that has there's now the timeline for that, I think, has been pushed back. But there you go. Regardless, Trail Boss is here. Interesting offering in the space, no doubt about it.